Well, when it comes down to North Korea, there's a lot of lip service going back and forth. But one thing I can say about North Korea, this president, Kim Jong-Un, don't give a damn about what Trump says. No matter how much they tell him not to conduct these missile tests, you notice how he just goes right ahead about his business and conduct all the tests he wants. And I think it's hilarious. The more Trump goes on the air and make threats, the more this man tests his missiles anytime and anywhere he wants in North Korea. And you notice how reluctant the US is when people can defend themselves. See, Iraq and Afghanistan and all those little countries over in the Middle East that the Americans like to bully, they don't have nothing to fight with. But see, North Korea does. And they're not so quick to fly the B-52s overhead and drop those bombs down, are they? Take notes, Black community, because this is what we have to do. We have to get armed up heavily to defend ourselves. Prospect of atmospheric nuclear tests by North Korea raises specter of danger. If North Korea follows through with its threat to conduct an atmospheric nuclear test, it would be a far more dangerous step than anything Kim Jong-un, its leader, has attempted, and poses a host of hard decisions for the Trump administration because attempting to stop the tests could be as dangerous as letting it go ahead. All 6 of the North nuclear tests have been underground containing radioactive fallout, but an atmospheric test, perhaps with a warhead shot over the Pacific on a North Korean missile or set off from a ship or barge, would put the populations below at its mercy of the North accuracy and at the winds that sweep up the radioactive cloud. That's why the United States and the Soviet Union banned such tests in their first nuclear test ban treaty more than a half a century ago. It is exactly that fear of an environmental or humanitarian calamity that Mr. Kim appears eager to foster as he looks for ways to strike back at the United States, Japan, and others seeking to choke off his money and trade. But experts who have been through the uncertainties of nuclear testing says there are risks all around for Mr. Kim as well as his foes. It's not clear North Korea has that capability yet, says Siegfried S. Heckler, the former director of Los Alamos National Laboratory and the nuclear weapons expert the North Koreans let in to see their uranium enrichment plants years ago when they wanted to make clear to the Obama administration that their atomic weapon program was moving ahead, unimpeded by sanctions. Besides, Dr. Heckler, a professor at Stanford University, a live missile test, one loaded with an H-bomb, poses enormous risk. He recalled that when the United States performed such tests in the early days of the Cold War, one blew up on the launch pad and one had to be destroyed right after launch, creating significant radioactive contamination. The North Koreans have studied this history too, according to the current and former American intelligence officials. But the appeals of the atmospheric test is obvious. It would create a sense of fear that an explosion deep inside a tunnel in North Korea does not. The tunnel tests are detected on a richer scale. An atmospheric test, like the kind the United States conducted at Bikini Atoll starting in 1948, creates a terrifying mushroom cloud. The largest of those, a 1954 test code named Castle Bravo, turned out to be roughly 3 times larger than American bomb designers anticipated. They had made a mathematical miscalculation about the power of one of the nuclear fuel contained in the weapon, and the explosion spread radioactive material across the globe. Wow. Did anybody ever learn that in history? I never did, but I'm not surprised. The United States, every time they fuck up, they want to cover it up and act like it didn't happen. Ultimately, Castle Bravo help fuel the call for a ban on atmospheric tests. Oh, because you screwed up, there's a ban on it now. Woo, these people are something else. No one knows what kind of test the North Koreans have in mind. The country's foreign minister, Ri Yong-ho, didn't specify when he raised the possibility when talking to reporters at the United Nations on Thursday. This could probably mean the strongest hydrogen bomb test over the Pacific Ocean, he said, regarding which measures to take. I don't really know, since it was what Kim Jong-Un does. He's gonna conduct this test. He doesn't care about what Trump or the UN says, and that's really what this is coming down to. He's gonna do that test. You can best believe it. All right, this is just a ballistic missile test video. I'm just gonna skip over that. But this makes me laugh. You know, it's almost like with North Korea, they are dancing around and using a lot of lip service. When it came down to Afghanistan and Iraq, they didn't hesitate to get everything together and go in there and bomb those people. Okay, because they knew right off the bat they couldn't fight back. They knew it. That's why they went in there all gun-ho and ready to bomb and kill people. But man, they are holding back big time when it comes down to North Korea. They really are. And I have heard several times in the news how they warned against missile testing for North Korea, and he has gone right ahead and tested all the missiles he wanted to test. It doesn't matter what threat or sanctions they threaten on North Korea. He just goes right ahead and do whatever he wants. But keep an eye on this guy, because I think something is going to happen possibly in the future, but the US are not the big bullies that you think they are when it comes down to North Korea. I just find it fascinating how they will not go in after this man like they went in there in the Middle East at all. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.